Hello everyone, welcome back to Dark Souls 2. I don't actually know when I last recorded for this game, but what I can tell you, not that you really need to be informed of this because you would already be aware of it, but for conversational reasons, I will mention it. This is the first time in a little while that you are seeing me. There has been an absence of Doomlink on the YouTube channel, and there hasn't actually been a live stream in some time either. So, there you are. Just one second. The reason why is because I've been unwell. Not just a sort of sickness that perhaps I could persist through while recording. I didn't have a voice, okay? Now, that is one non-negotiable when it comes to recording a live stream. I need to be able to talk without, my voice being stuck in my throat. So, there you go. I'm just going to say that I appear slightly too orange, so I'm going to dial that back slightly. I don't know why I just suddenly had that feeling. And in fact, the adjustment that I'm about to make is going to be almost negligible, but whatever. It's for my own peace of mind. We are back in... oh yes, and also my voice has returned. For the most part. It might sound slightly weird. I might clear my throat more often than normal. I may even cough as I consume my beverage today, just because, it might tickle my throat. But for the most part, my voice is back, fortunately. I don't actually remember what I was last doing in Dark Souls 2. As I said, I don't really remember when I was last recording it, and my head is not in Souls at all. I've not been playing Souls in my own time. I did play a little bit of Elden Ring between the last recording and this one in my own time, so I'm not entirely out of sorts, but I have not really been thinking about even this recording series, so I will have to try and touch base again with whatever the hell my strategy and I guess direction of travel has been in this game and in this recording. Yes, I'm under control. I'm not the infallible individual from another country. I'm a human being. And we all get sick occasionally. The beverage today is an interesting one. I don't know if I suppose there's a little bit of green in it. It's called Paper Trails. It's some kind of Italian Pilsner. That's how it's described. And I'm not much of a Pilsner drinker because it is of a similar pedigree to a beer that I almost refuse to drink, but it was on special, thought I'd give it a try. Let's see if it's drinkable. The glass that I'm drinking out of today is a new glass. It's one that I recently acquired from an antique store. It's a traditional style glass, we'll say. I don't want to say glass because in the old days, this shape, and when I say old days, I mean, medieval times, it wouldn't have been made of glass, but it is a glass version of what would be a medieval, we'll say, receptacle for the consumption of alcohol, just to put it in dry, clinical terms. It's got a man on it, and it's also got something written in German. It just so happens that when I record Souls games, my webcam is not flipped or anything like that, so it's not actually backwards here. In fact, you can read Paper Trails, probably. That is assuming that the green screen is not taking colours out of the label of the can, but anyway, it's a nice glass. This is going to be probably my main beer glass that I drink out of these days, because I find that as time passes, I'm beginning to move further and further away from the idea of having the exact glass to match the exact beer that I'm drinking. It's what I used to do in the past, but eventually you get to the point where you just don't have enough space to collect the number of glasses that would match the amount of beer that you drink, or the number of varieties of beer that you drink, so there you go. It's a big glass, so 2 440ml cans will be, not literally 2 full cans, but let's just say that 1 can is insufficient to fill the glass, so there you are. Don't you dare go over the edge. Excellent. As I said, or as I suggested, I don't know if I'm going to like this beer. We'll see. Taste test. Fairly bitter. My initial impression is that it is unremarkable. That may change, or it may even worsen as the recording goes on. We'll see. Yep, unremarkable. Do I regret the purchase? Not particularly. But would I drink it again? No. What the fuck? In fact, I probably won't have another Pilsner for a very, very long time. Like I said, I'm sorry if I do cough at all during this recording. I'll try to keep it to a minimum. As best as I can do so, anyway. It's just that, yeah, alcohol tickles my throat. As my throat is at the moment. So, I'm assuming that I went in this direction. I don't know if I was fighting the Flexile Sentry or what precisely was going on. I do believe that I've only recently started using this greatsword. Oh, God, I hate the fact that my character moves independent of the locking system. It's awful. I mean, I was complaining about it in the last recording, and probably in the recording that preceded that one, so I don't really need to rehash the grievance, but bloody hell. Take that. Alright, so what are we doing? Making sure that we're not being ambushed, obviously, as we proceed. I would assume that this rock-throwing individual would ambush us. That's one of the things that you have to deal with when it comes to Dark Souls 2. More than any Dark Souls game that came before it, you do have to deal with constant ambushes, and it's just... I think I may have made this point early on, but in case I didn't make the point, let this serve as a point to be made against this game. The number of blatant ambushes that you have to endure in this game becomes monotonous, uninspired, and it detracts from the overall experience of the game. And the reason why it's being done is because the entire, let's say, creative design that goes into this game is, I guess the objective is to make it as difficult as possible, as I said, and that constant state of being ambushed by enemies that you are in as a player is basically a result. It is a symptom of that kind of strategy being employed by the game developers. Quite pointlessly and misguidedly being employed by the developers. Oh, that's right, I remember now. I had almost made it to the next location, and I had actually made it to the next location, sorry, but I had almost made my way to, or had almost reached the first bonfire of that place, and then I died stupidly. But it was at the end of the recording, so I wasn't that concerned anyway. This is not the Scholar of the First Sin version. I don't think I noticed. I'm not saying that you're wrong, P-Berry. He says in the chat, they made ambushes and enemy count way higher than the initial release in the Scholar of the First Sin version. Without commenting on the number of enemies that you encounter, I didn't personally notice more ambushes. That impression was almost immediate when I played this game. The idea that there were just a nauseatingly high number, or that there was a nauseatingly high frequency of ambush confrontations in this game compared with Demon Souls and Dark Souls. That was something that pissed me off from the beginning when I played this game when it came out, and it pisses me off to this day, and whether or not there is more or less of it in Scholar of the First Sin, it still pisses me off all the same. I wouldn't say that it pissed me off more or less. I didn't notice it being better or worse. Yeah, it's incredible that they made it worse, isn't it? But do you know what? I'm not surprised, because Scholar of the First Sin did nothing to actually improve the original game, so I'm not surprised that their... Oh, for goodness sake. Yeah, do your pathetically slow drinking animation. Should I be doing... No, I'm not. It looked like he fell over there. I don't know if I should be using ranged lightning spears here. I don't really want to. I love how they retreat when it's convenient for them, and then they pursue when it's deeply inconvenient for me. Oh my god. Alright, I'll get this prick. Fairly slow casting speed still with lightning spears. I can't at this stage remember how to increase the casting speed. I'm sure that it's linked to a specific stat. That stat escapes me right now. The reason why I don't have a clear memory... Oh, for goodness sake! Why did Doomlink, at point-blank range, attack in a completely different direction to where the enemy was? Well, it's because when I target the enemy, what I'm doing with the left analog stick still has some bearing on the movement of my character, which is not the case in Demon Souls or Dark Souls, and it will forever fuck me over when I play these games. These games referring to, presumably Elden Ring as well, but particularly Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. It only happens with the large, I think the ultra great swords, and probably the great hammers, weapons like those, the really heavy, slow-moving ones. If you decide to move your character in a particular direction with your analog stick while targeting the enemy, normally it wouldn't actually do anything. Like, you will remain perfectly focused on the enemy with your lock-on, but that's not the case with those weapons. And the reason why it frustrates me, obviously, is because when you are like me and you put so much time into those first two games, it's muscle memory, isn't it? You become comfortable with the understanding that that target, that lock-on, is absolute. And then once they get rid of that, it fucks you over. And quite frankly, there is nothing worse than putting yourself in danger with the self-assurance that, oh, I'm attacking this enemy and flinching them, so it's okay that I'm, closing the distance and attacking them in this way, because it's not actually a risk. And then you actually completely miss them, which means that you are now getting hit by the enemy in most cases. And it's stupid. It shouldn't need to happen. I guess part of it is that I'm inflexible in the sense that I'm not getting used to the new system, but I contend that it never had to fucking change, okay? That's not just me not liking change because, I don't know, I'm an old fogey. It's not that. It's just that I see no benefit to it. It doesn't add anything. I guess it's difficulty, but for what purpose? I don't get it. Sorry, mini rant. And one that I think I have already gone on in this recording series, but the recordings are infrequent enough that it actually feels like it's been a while since I've made the point. So I apologize for those who are watching these recordings in VOD format, sequentially one after the other. Well, no. I should just say back to back. That's probably what I really want to get across. If you're watching these as VODs back to back, I apologize if I'm constantly saying the same things over and over again. I don't really want to deal with these guys, but I'm going to, and the reason why is because they're actually quite easy to confront when you are beneath them on stairs. It's actually really quite easy. As you were able to see towards the end of the last recording. So you can see the attack pretty much just goes over me. No comment. No clarification of what just happened is required. Oh, as you can see, certain attacks can actually go through. Alright. One of them is almost dead, is that? This one, yes. So you are out of the picture. That makes this one easier to deal with in general. Can I backstab you? No, I can't. I'm not surprised. I'm not in any way displeased with that, because he's huge. There's a general rule that once an enemy is a certain percentage larger than you in size, it's just not practical or in any way possible for backstabbing to be present as an option. Don't hit me with your bloody halberd. I no longer have the advantage of being beneath you. But you see, the thing is, that whole idea of being almost untouchable while you're beneath an enemy on the stairs is very refreshing to be able to use against an enemy, like to actually take advantage of that, because as the player, you honestly have to deal with that fairly often, especially in Dark Souls, so to be able to use it to your advantage rather than just end up getting shat on by an enemy is refreshing and rather enjoyable. I probably would have mentioned it in the previous recording, but that ghost up there is someone that we can befriend. Well, maybe befriend is a strong word, but let's just say that he will become neutral to us and decide to engage in, I don't know, the selling of goods. He's the first person in the game, if I can recall correctly, who sells repair powder. Now, repair powder is very difficult to come by in this game. It is very valuable, and the reason why is because the entire balance of the game is the idea that you can now replenish durability at the bonfire, therefore weapon durability is generally lower than it was in previous games, which therefore means having the ability to repair your weapon with an item on the go. I'm sorry. The ability to repair your item on the go is more valuable. It's something that... How do I describe it? You know what I mean anyway. It has more impact in this game than it does in other games. For those of you wondering, or for those of you who were wondering why I waited so long to record, perhaps this recording will show you why. Even after so much time has passed, my throat is still not in working order, so... It may sound fine for the most part, but it's... oh, I'm very happy to get those souls back. That was 24,000. But yeah, it might be in working order at first hearing, but whether or not it's going to survive a 2-hour-long recording remains to be seen. We will find out. Let's open this door. Oh god. Good day. And goodbye. The reason why I'm doing this is because I've already died there once before, and I don't want to invite the possibility of it happening again. So I'm going to make a beeline for the bonfire. That's alliteration. Thank you, Doomlink. And we now no longer have to worry about that possible scenario eventuating. How are we going for consumable souls in our inventory? We don't really have much in the way of anything. So... I'll probably accumulate more stones here before I turn them in. I generally, obviously those stones are to be left for... what are they called again? Those fucking crows? I can't believe I've forgotten it. Well, basically you're Sparkly the Crow equivalents in this game. And, I'm sure it probably says it here. Oh no, it doesn't. Well, whatever. You leave it for them, and they will give you a random item from a pool in return, but it's a bit of a journey to go there, so I wait until I have more to give them first. Let's just, I suppose, refamiliarize ourselves with the build here. Stone ring, happy with that ring, it's always effective. The only reason why you would ever replace it is if you've got an exceptional ring that ends up having an ability that is generally more beneficial than the stone ring. But the stone ring's very helpful. It basically flinches enemies more effectively. Or allows your attacks to flinch enemies more effectively. The Ring of Blades, obviously, increases the damage that you deal. Nothing wrong with that. Ring of Steel protection, self-explanatory. And the second Dragon Ring, which will be replaced by the third Dragon Ring in time to come. Nice enough. Armor set is, at this stage, accepting the Jester's Gloves, designed to be maximum defense for the amount of weight on our person. that we can have whilst fast rolling. And, yeah. Our weapon presumably requires petrified dragon bones in order to be upgraded. I do have the Pursuer's Ultra Greatsword, but here's the thing. Between this Greatsword and this one of course being my most recently forged one, this is going to be the priority in terms of upgrading. If both of these require petrified dragon bones, which I would imagine that they do, courtesy of the fact that they are both forged with boss souls, this is definitely going to be the one that I allocate my fairly limited petrified dragon bones to in the mid-game. Is this the mid-game? I'd say so. Probably. My washing machine's being very loud. I'm not going to explain why. It's not an interesting subject. But if it ends up being extremely loud, I may have to get up and pause it. Just because... yeah, long story. But the simple fact is that I don't want it disrupting the recording. I probably should use the... just stop it! You know what I'm reacting to. But yeah, I probably should use the souls that I have here before I... like, why did you just not... just... you know, it's the little things that piss you off sometimes. But this is... what's little about being unable to land a fucking attack at point blank range? Like, that's quite significant and obviously completely unacceptable. Is it my fault or the game's fault? Well, you know where I stand on that. This is an interesting room. There is only one entranceway that is required to progress. Well, one entranceway to be opened that is required to be opened to progress. What a fucking messy sentence. Anyway, the point is, I need to open that one. I don't need to open the rest of the doors. And here's the fact of the matter. The benefits to opening these doors are unfortunately outweighed by the almost prohibitive time consumption involved in opening the doors, so just don't bother. It's not worth it. Excuse my belching. Gentle as it was. Now. What am I doing? Leveling up. I added an extra syllable in there. Leveling up. Yeah, rightio. Alright, so... what are we doing? Literally getting one level up. That's fine. Just the less souls I have on my person, the more comfortable I'm going to feel progressing through the game, if that makes sense. That is unless I have anything else that I want to allocate these souls to, and I don't think there is. I can't imagine anything that I would want to allocate these souls to instead. I'd complain about the fact that it sounded as if that guy coughed in my face, but I'm doing a lot of coughing at the moment myself, so I will keep my mouth shut. We need one more petrified dragon bone to be able to upgrade this greatsword. At this stage I don't know where I could get a petrified dragon bone. It may even be advisable to check to see where I can get petrified dragon bones and actually deliberately go and get one, because I only need one more to upgrade, but we'll just leave it alone for now. Oh, goodness. What do you mean? Oh, I see. Yeah. No, I have actually been... yeah, I'm mainly interested in the agility, to be honest. Poise can be increased through endurance. Well, actually, maybe ADP, which I understand to refer to adaptability. Maybe, yeah, it does actually seem to be the primary stat to increase poise. Do I need a lot of poise in this game? Well, in this build, I should say. Probably. Well, that's quite cute that they have an invisible increase there. Well, no, it's not increasing cast speed. You can see that casting speed as a stat is not being highlighted here. So cast speed is Faith and achievement. So, probably drinking speed, as you suggest. I didn't think that drinking speed was actually something that could be increased. I probably knew at one point, but forgot. But definitely my adaptability is woefully low. I was too focused on my build in other ways. It's fine because as far as this build is concerned, this is the right time to be working on adaptability. And the reason why is because I was singularly focused on getting the stats required to wield the weapon that I'm wielding now. And because I've achieved that, I can comfortably upgrade my adaptability now. Let's put a point into that. Alright. I don't even care that your rolling iframes are defaultly so low in Dark Souls 2, because rolling feels like shit in this game. It's just, it feels right that the iframes are bad, because the roll looks and feels like shit. Just the fact that there's no jumping involved, it's, you don't actually get any airtime, as we could say, airtime. But it's true. You know, a fast roll in the old games was, it just felt a lot better. It felt like you were rolling through something in the sense that you were almost jumping over it. You weren't actually, but the ability to really jump forward and then fall into a roll was a lot more satisfying. This business, where your head is going straight down immediately for a very realistic forward roll. I'm sorry, but realism doesn't do a game like this any favors, does it? Like, let's think about it for a second. It's a game that, well, I suppose when I have talked about in the past, Dark Souls 2 having issues in terms of animations, very slow and meandering and laboured, like the character is really having to struggle to do everything. I suppose that's like a realism factor. The problem is that translates to slower, sluggish, and unpleasant gameplay. Demon Souls and Dark Souls are quick to the point, and what that translates to is you doing something on the controller and you can immediately see a result in the game you're playing. It feels better. I don't think anyone can refute that. I think perhaps some people haven't considered that before, because, you know, not everyone watching has heard me rant about this before. But it's a point that I've made against Dark Souls 2 in the past. It's just that the animations feel terrible. Dark Souls 3 is a bit of an improvement. It's not as snappy as Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1, but at least it's not the same as this game. This game just feels terrible. Just awful. Just gonna muscle this guy to death. Oh, he did not drop his shield as I prayed that he would. Oh, for fuck's sake. I suppose that was my miscalculation. Can't complain about the game that time. Stone Soldier Spear. I don't think that's a bad weapon, but I don't really feel the need to use it. Making sure that I'm not going to be ambushed, because this is Dark Souls 2, and that would be entirely probable. What's in this chest? Dark Arrow times 15. Game breaking. Some good pickups there. Soul of a hero is, I don't know. I can't remember how many souls, but a decent number. Obviously, when you play this game for the first time and come through this location for the first time, all of these statues of enemies make you shit your pants. You're like, oh god, when are they going to come alive? Are they going to come alive in front of me? Are they going to come alive behind me and then ambush me? What's going to happen? I was definitely, like, what do you say, paranoid. I was paranoid by those fucking statues, thinking that they would come alive behind me when I first played through this game. Hello, Hossein. This is the poison dart room. I seem to remember for some reason they actually disabled the darts defaultly in the Scholar of the First Sin version. I don't know why, or rather I don't know how you get them to activate. I think you activate them by opening the chest, and they only shoot when you open the chest. But in this game, they constantly shoot. Or in this version of the game. I'm just going to see if I can... Yep, that's good enough. I don't need that item. Oh, sorry. No, I think they did put a chest in here in Scholar of the First Sin, didn't they? Anyway, the point is that that is a constantly operating trap in this version. And it's annoying. What's going on, guys? You. I'm targeting you, so I want you to attack me. Or your friend. I'm not that concerned either way. Just fuck's sake, like, I need to try. This is the problem. With the knowledge that my analog stick's activity when I'm swinging this weapon is actually going to make a difference. I'm trying to direct my character towards the enemy, but what I should actually be doing is completely letting go of that analog stick in order to get the desired effect, which is basically that the lock-on is absolute. And I'm sick of that shit. It's so unintuitive, it's pissing me off. It's unintuitive because it differs from what I'm used to. And from what I learnt on. Yeah, good night. Probably should be going for backstabs with these guys. Should also be going for more jump attacks. Jump attacks are very useful. I tried to do one there, but failed. Good thing about jump attacks is that, well, fairly obviously, high damage, they can be used pretty much as you want, and it's an interesting balance because you can close the distance very quickly at a time of your choosing and deal maximum damage with the weapon. It's odd. I don't really get why they introduced jump attacks. I don't use them very often. I really don't. It's because I find them to be imbalanced. It's not me trying to challenge myself or trying to be or trying to one-up other players who, you know, it's not elitism or anything like that. I actually forget about it because it doesn't feel right. It feels like a mistake in terms of balancing. Yeah, I know you're fucking caper. I know precisely what you're trying to do. You're trying to break my guard. Well, what if I don't even intend to guard you in the first place? I'll just muscle you to death because that's what you were trying to do to me. Happy to do it back to you, man. But yeah, you can tell that trying to guard him is a bad idea. There are two reasons why. The first is that he's going to attack very aggressively and repetitively until you end up having a broken guard, or he just will break your guard anyway. And the problem with allowing him to break your guard is obviously that you're going to be vulnerable for a period of time. And that's bad news. Oh, fuck, why don't you just let me follow up with an R1 after my R2? How hard is that? Is it possible? It is, you just have to really get the right timing. Don't know what that's about. I swear you don't need that sort of timing in the other games, but I could always be wrong. Maybe I'm just biased against Dark Souls 2. It's entirely possible. Let's talk to the giant lady. That's Nishandra. She is the final boss. You know the one with the big side? That's her in whatever form you could describe that as. Her non-boss form. Her non-evil form, although I think she is evil story-wise. I don't know. I don't follow the law. Hang me, will you? Hang me, would you, rather. My little footprints on the floor are awfully cute. Well, I don't know where they were appearing. They're not appearing anymore. Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah, that's adorable, isn't it? Makes me blush. Alright, so the upcoming boss is an interesting one. It was a bit of a wall for me when I was playing the game for the first time, because there's a trick to it. There's basically a sniper you can't really reach, and there's another guy who attacks you at the same time. It's the Dragon Riders, except this is including not just the original Dragon Rider that we fought, but an additional one, an archer. The way you deal with them is you muscle them to death as best you can, because they have low health, and the sooner you kill one of them, the better. So you need to combine that strategy with going close enough to the archer that he can't actually hit you, which will cause him to fall down. And it may actually be probable, not probable, but rather ideal, to attack the archer once he falls down, because he's got the lowest health. You can see that 309 damage on the archer is a whole lot better. So what I want to do is bring our friend, the original Dragon Rider, forward first. So that's pretty much how we're going to play it. Oh, fucking hell, your bloody range, mate. Hello. How do you feel about this one? Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, he's brought out his spear, that's bad news. Oh, yay. Yikes, I guess is what I really meant to say. Alright, shield out. Because it's a good shield, incidentally. Oh my god. The two of you doing repetitive attacks with that long-ranged weapon really is unwelcome. Alright, so obviously because this is the same Dragon Rider we killed in the past, he isn't even stronger in any way. The sooner we get the weaker one out of the way, the better. I'm fumbling at the moment, but I'm just trying to coax the other one into attacking. Get out of the way, you dick! Why do you arbitrarily decide to run under certain scenarios and then under others, or in others, you're just like, no, I'm gonna fucking stand here and take the hit. You prick. Alright. Recovering health, slowly but surely. I didn't want to do an attack out of that roll because I probably wouldn't have been on target. I swear to God that was iframed well enough. The iframes really are bad, aren't they? I don't particularly need to do that though because my shield is quite good, as you can tell. In a game, by the way, where shields are generally pretty shit, at least early on. Did not intend for that. I meant to do a fucking jump attack. I suppose that's one thing as well. It's almost a case of high risk, high reward with jump attacks, because if you do fuck it up, you'll probably end up getting hit. Well, I did fuck it up. Let's not muscle him to death. He's almost got me on. Well, he does have me on the ropes, I'd say. So to stay out of his range and heal. Alright. Let's keep it smart. Good timing with the shield, my friend. I'd reckon this will be... No? Of course he'd have a follow-up. He has a follow-up, right? And I shield it without issue. Like, I mean, quite frankly, my shield was up and had been up for a full second, I would estimate. I was on target. Like, I was facing him. And he still fucking hit me. Like, what's going on? I don't understand this game sometimes. Maybe if we review the footage, we'll be able to figure out what I did wrong. But, look, I'm not going to be giving this game the benefit of the doubt, okay? Fuck me. That's a big cup, says Hossein. It is big, isn't it? It's good. It's a traditional ale cup. And I'm drinking a shot. Oh, look out. It's never good when there's one Discord notification, because it's probably from my friend who fucking spams me with direct messages. I've now muted Discord. Light the bonfire. Alright, so that's that confrontation over and done with. We get the Dragon Rider soul a second time, I'm pretty sure. I actually think that's quite rude that they only give us one. You know, we killed that same guy before and got the same soul, but this time we killed two of them, and yet they give us one soul, and it's the same one from before. I mean, honestly, what were they thinking? That boss can actually be pretty tricky sometimes, so... Especially for newer players, so I don't really know what they were thinking by giving you the exact same soul, even though you're actually fighting two of them. Like, maybe give us two of those, so then we can get more souls for our work. You know, because the difficulty level of that boss versus the original Dragon Rider's confrontation is not the same. Not even close. Anyway. We are now in the central Castle Drangleic location. This will have the Looking Glass Knight as a boss. Now, I do tend to asceticize the bonfire of this location to fight the Looking Glass Knight at New Game Plus, because I find him to be a not-so-difficult boss to fight in New Game Plus. But I just don't really feel like that. I don't feel like I could do it comfortably with this build. You know, if I had something a little more fast-moving, sure. Something with better evasion capability, yeah. But not this. So I think I'm going to pass on that. Anyway, I'm going to briefly visit the little boy's room. I'll be back in a moment. I'm back. P-Berry, I don't think I've ever seen the Looking Glass Knight summon a real player. I think you're remembering that wrong. Because I've played this game online a lot, I'm pretty sure, and I don't think I've seen a real player ever get summoned. There are different sort of NPCs, and look, they look like they could be real players, but they are NPCs. There are different ones that he summons, but I've never seen one that was an actual real player, like the old monk. That's never been my experience. No, not in my experience, P-Berry. Like I have time and time again been invaded, trying to summon people for that boss fight, and spirits have been sent home every time I engage the boss. I don't know, you could be right, but seriously, in the time that I've played this game, I've never seen it. Never seen it. What? Hey Gaming, Christ, like, finished Tears of the Kingdom. I didn't even know the game was out. To be honest, like, hand on heart, I didn't even know Tears of the Kingdom was out. Didn't know. It was leaked to the extent where you can play it. That's really funny. Who the fuck leaked it? Imagine if it were Kotaku. That would be really funny. You know what? I actually hope that it was Kotaku and that they can get pinned on that and legally destroyed. I doubt it was them. I'm just saying it as a joke. I don't know if any of you saw that, but Kotaku started reporting on leaks because they got blacklisted by Nintendo for the coverage of the release or something. Which is funny because, quite frankly, they deserve to be blacklisted. They are a thoroughly unprofessional and bottom-feeding journalist organization, or reporting organization. Don't know why I can't think of the word right now. But the point is that they are pathetic. They have been for a long time, and they've just absolutely hit the bottom of the barrel in the last year or two. Their coverage of whatever it's called, Hogwarts Legacy, was so woeful, so embarrassingly unprofessional that, yeah, they sort of reached a new low, I suppose is what you would say. But, yeah, of course they were fucking blacklisted, and then they became quite petty about it. Yeah, so, yeah, Nintendo, can you imagine? Like, Nintendo will unleash the full force of their lawyer entourage upon people who have almost no effect on their sales, okay? So imagine a person who has actually leaked Tears of the Kingdom. This is incredible. I can't believe that I'm just finding this out now. You people must think that I live under a rock or something. I will admit to you all that I happily live under a rock in these days, or in these times. But, yeah, that's extraordinary. I've never heard that before. A game like Tears of the Kingdom being fully leaked to be played before it's come out, that's pretty bad. That's bad news. Breath of the Wild was leaked too. What? I don't remember that. Anyway. I'm assuming Twitch has totally banned people from recording it, unless they can prove that they have been given early access. I don't know, I haven't followed it. And to be honest, like, I don't care about Tears of the Kingdom whatsoever. Couldn't give a shit. I've discussed it already. I am being ambushed by stone soldiers. Oh, for God's sake, look at that range. Negotiating these three is just nightmarish. Like, all three of you fuckers. And then in the time that it takes for me to drink one of these Estus flasks, I mean, you better believe that at least one of these pricks is going to hit me. Old Knight Hammer, what joy. I need to kill at least one of them. And then he retreats at the perfect time to avoid my attack. I mean, you couldn't fucking make it up, could you? To be honest. Look at how aggressive they get when they pursue you. See, this is what's wrong with this game. The way enemies pursue you with the utmost aggression, like, you almost... Like, you couldn't make a more aggressive fucking enemy if you tried sometimes with some of the enemies here in this game. They pursue you at inhuman speeds. You know, let's put it this way. They move at a certain speed, normally, okay? I'm about to be killed by them because and I'll tell you why. It's because they've got long fucking range. And they advance incredibly fast. Okay, now this is one of the problems with Dark Souls 2. It is not the idea that enemies are particularly pursuant. It's that they will move at a certain speed under every single confrontation scenario. But as soon as you retreat, they will, you know, they turn on speed hacks just to make it harder for you to get away. Now that's not clever. Okay, that is not clever game design. That is... From Software sitting there saying, oh shit, let's make the game harder. They turned up a difficulty knob in the most uncreative way possible. That's the way I see it. Did the balls drop? Yeah, my balls just dropped. Hey, gaming. That's what's going on. Yes, I am sick. I'm not still sick. It's just my throat is still being affected by a previous sickness. That is the situation. Yeah, guys, I just came out the other end of puberty, so be nice to me. I'm changing. I'd show you my recently grown out pubic hair, but I don't really want to get banned from Twitch. That would also have other more serious implications if I were actually at the age of a pubescent teenager. Anyway, let's get off that subject, shall we? Now, there are things in this room that I could possibly collect, you know, goodies. But I'm not doing it. Because I've decided that particularly after that confrontation I had with those stone soldiers, I've decided that I'm not really interested in this place's bullshit. Now, this is not a required direction to go in. I'm just coming up here just to see if there is anything. There's nothing here. There are some annoying Alon knights. Alon, I don't fucking know. Knights, and yeah, I don't really want to deal with them. We got some repair powder, but most importantly, there is this here. Alright. I will never grow out a beard. Well, I might eventually. But, yeah, I'm not doing that anytime soon. Oh, no, well, technically my plan when I become very old, that is to say, over 70, is to grow out a wizard's beard. Like a really long wizard's beard. So, I will be doing that. Because my hair is always going to be quite long, you see. And when my hair starts going grey, I'm going to bleach it. Going to make it white. That's what I call thinking ahead. I'm sitting on 45,000 souls. Perhaps I should actually do something with these. As well as that, I may... Well, let me consume this soul of a hero. How many souls does that give me? That's 10,000. Reasonable. Let's make our way to the Emerald Herald. Make use of what is currently 55,706 souls. And we'll also give her our Estus Flask Shard before I forget to do so. Because that's one thing that I do suffer from in this game. It is an amnesia relating to the acquisition of Estus Flask Shards. Sometimes I can have as many as 3 of them before I remember to give them to the Emerald Herald, so let's do that now. If I were to get a beard, it would be a moustache as well. Probably, like, I'd say the style that I would go for would be like a King Charles II style. But, yeah, I'm not in a rush to do that. That's just if I feel like giving it a try at some point in the future. I don't know. It's only because I only consider it because my girlfriend said that she'd quite like to see me with facial hair, but I'm not really in a rush to grant her wish, if you can understand. I like being clean-shaven, I prefer it. I find facial hair to be quite gross. Like, it's scratchy and bleh. I understand, like, people say that there is a certain... you have to get past that point where it feels gross and then eventually it feels neutral, but I don't care. I find facial hair to be kind of dirty and bleh. That's not to put down people who grow out facial hair, it's just... I'm speaking for myself here. And to my own personal preferences in regards to my own physical appearance, you know, don't take it personally. But yeah, that's just how I am with it. Yeah, it stops itching after it goes a certain length. Yeah, I'm aware of that. It's just that, it's kind of gross to me still. Yeah, I don't particularly need the Jesus look. And that's precisely what it would be if I allowed it to be, and I don't want that. Because it's honestly... What I don't like is how easy it is to just be called Jesus these days. Like, I suppose having long hair is not as much of a novelty now as it would have been, say, 20 years ago. Of course, before then it was kind of normal, but the idea is that it seems that as long as you've got some long hair and a little bit of facial hair, I'm not talking about a beard, I'm just talking about, you know, a bit of scruffy fucking pubic hair on your face. People are like, oh, Jesus, Jesus. There is a Jesus look, and then there is having long hair and a little bit of facial hair. There are two different things there. I definitely wouldn't want anything that even begins to resemble Jesus, because it's boring to be called, you know, the Jesus of something, or that he looks like Jesus, because it's like, ugh, boring. I'd like to look like myself, rather than Jesus. It's like how people say Stephen Burke from, that's his name, isn't it? Steve Burke from Gamers Nexus. They say he looks like Jesus. I mean, what kind of narcotic do you have to ingest to look at Steve Burke and go, you know what, that guy looks like Jesus. He looks like Jesus. This guy is the tech Jesus. So, I'll smack you upside the head, you fool, for saying such a thing. I'm sure it doesn't bother him, but yeah, that's just ridiculous. He looks nothing like Jesus. It's not even funny as a joke, you know. There has to be some kind of resemblance for it to work as a joke, but it's not there, okay? Anyway, let's consume our Dragon Rider Saw. I'm not going to be using it for anything, and yeah. Why did I do that after I'd leveled up? That is actually the question of the day, because if I can't level up with 22,000 souls, that means it's going to be sitting in my soul counter rather than save. Oh, I can level up. Excellent. That's good news. Yeah, I just didn't want it sitting in my soul counter when it could have otherwise been sitting as a consumable soul in my inventory with no risk of me losing it. It seems that... When did this happen? It must have been after killing the Dragon Riders. We now have access to all of the... Well, we don't have access to all of them, but we can see all of the locations in the game, even though we haven't unlocked them all. Seems a bit random to me. I would have imagined that maybe it would happen when you kill the Looking Glass Knight. Seems like more of a milestone than the Dragon Riders. But whatever. Maybe it's because Drangleic Castle is so damn confusing that they just want to be able to show you where you could be going, but aren't. I don't know. What does the 1 near those mean? What do you mean? I have to tell you that whenever you ask a question in the chat relating to what's going on in the game, you do have to be specific, because by the time I read what you've said, I can't remember what I was doing when you would have typed that, so I don't know what the 1 that you're talking about actually refers to. You mean here? L1. No, that doesn't mean location. That is the bonfire level. So the best example I can give you is Angel's Idol. You can see that that is number 2. That is bonfire intensity 2. It's actually fleshed out in the top right corner of that expanded window. Bonfire intensity 2, and it is made smaller here. So... Why did Doomlink do that? It's because I play a lot of games where cross on the DualShock controllers is actually to go back, not to make a selection, okay? Goodness sake. That's something I will always struggle with all the different games that I play. You'd think I'd be used to it because I did play both PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 when they were the newest consoles, but apparently it's still a struggle for me to actually go back and forth. Sometimes. I suppose it depends on whether or not I'm playing a lot of games that use circle to select frequently. I apologize for my coughing, by the way. And also for the clearing of my throat. Clearing my throat is a preventative measure because it prevents me from coughing, but it's also rather disruptive to the ears. I'm sorry about that. How does this work? Well, I'm currently alive now, right? Because I've just consumed a human effigy, so if there are people to be summoned, then presumably I will find summon signs. We don't actually have the ability to progress to the boss just yet, but I thought that I'd use a human effigy now. I hope that wasn't audible, that was unseemly. If it wasn't audible, then it was just me making a really stupid face, which I would prefer, to be honest. Alright. I'm drinking a shitty Pilsner, which, to be honest, is just tautology, in my opinion. I thought it might be interesting, but it's not. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's the way you should be reacting. It's called Paper Trails. It's it's got a nice can. It's a very modern kind of beer. And it's although having said that, one of the reasons why I actually liked the look of the can is because it almost looks like a 1980s travel ad. I don't know. But it's yeah, some kind of Italian Pilsner. And I do have more left in this can. I was reminded of that. Yay, more shitty Pilsner! Yes! What? You've had it before? Really? Pilsner or this particular one? That would be quite an extraordinary coincidence because I do believe this is manufactured in Queensland, Australia. This one? What? It's made in Queensland, Australia. Why on earth would you have had it? I didn't know that you would have gotten Australian beer. Whatever. That's pretty random. Do you get a lot of Australian imports over there? I wouldn't have imagined. I would have thought you would have quite a strong domestic craft beer market. I'm not saying Pilsner's a craft beer, but it looks like it's made by craft brewers. It's an independent brewery. It's called Lost Palms, I think. Yeah, Lost Palms. Well, your partner sent you crap, I'm sorry to say. But yeah. It's unremarkable, it's a Pilsner, and that's about all that needs to be said. It's just like, fuck me. I only got it because it was on special. Strange coincidence, though, that you happen to have had it to drink as well. Now. Two-handing. What is Doomlink doing? You're about to see. That's very important, what I just did there. Damn. Missed my opportunity. Oh, there's one from... Okay, that's a miscalculation. Alright, so these enemies here can actually be killed before they come alive by knocking off their heads. I should be doing jump attack. This is bad. I've already consumed a human effigy here. So if I end up... Oh, I don't have any life gems for this boss. Yeah, that was a miscalculation. I want to retry that, please. I need to purchase some life gems because I've not done so. Let's do that now. I need them for the boss anyway. Whether I'm soloing or not, I need them. Alrighty, right. Where am I going? I'm going over here. Yes, buy some life gems from the woman who gives you ore and other such upgradables or upgrading materials. I don't really have much in the way of souls, but I can get more. Not many more, but enough to buy some more life gems, yeah. Let's do it. You usually kill her. Why? I haven't seen Huntsdiverse people spell soloing like that. There's always something new to learn when it comes to those people. What ring does he drop? I don't remember. I just find that... Okay, so... If you kill her, does that mean that you... cannot... Like, you must therefore miss out on a certain amount of materials that are considered limited per playthrough. So, for example, you would only have a theoretical limit to the number of petrified dragon bones that you could get in a run. Does that mean you've basically prevented yourself from getting those in exchange for a ring? Goodness. Well, there you go. I'm gonna get you now. Just gonna absolutely beat you. Or beat on you, whatever you want to say. Excellent. That was much better executed, and the reason why is because I actually knew about that one this time. Still have to deal with a few of them, as you can see. Didn't mean for that. What I really meant for was my character to perform a jump attack. I'm glad the other one is just leashed. That is good news. Excellent news. Yeah, can you stop kicking me and doing strange acrobatic maneuvers? No. Don't fully leash, please. Alright, I'll use an Estus Flask. I just couldn't be bothered equipping life gems, okay? I forgot to equip them. You are actually about to make me scream. I thought he was actually going to retreat right in front of me after I'd closed the distance. That would have just pushed me over the edge, quite frankly. I may not seem like I'm close to that point, but looks can be deceiving. How the fuck did you actually consume that much of my stamina? Pretty good guard break this fellow has. Can you get this soldier person out of my face? Ugh. Anyway. There we go, there's our backstab. How the fuck he does a barrel roll when you swing your sword at him? I mean, don't you find it rather pathetic that From Software would seek to reduce the enjoyment level of the game by making animations slower for the sake of realism, but then you do a backslash, because it's not really a backstab, swing your sword that way, and this fully armored knight does a fucking somersault. What? Why? It doesn't add anything to that experience. Maybe it's slightly satisfying, but it's not satisfying when I realize that you're being inconsistent with the realism that has actually decreased my overall enjoyment level in the game since it first came out. Yes, the stone prick does have a few moves. He's busting moves when he's attacking you for sure. Alright. Are we basically resigning ourselves to A solo confrontation? I think we are. I think we are. Yep. Let's do it. He always does, well, he doesn't always do it, but he often does that opening jump attack. Easy enough to deal with. So, fortunately, one of the things that you have to consider with this boss is the fact that his shield is very effective when it comes to blocking your attacks. It's extremely annoying when you have, for example, a horizontal slash that really should make contact with this boss, but then it happens to hit the shield first, and then you end up not being able to get any damage out. But the vertical slashes are generally pretty good. I would recommend something that slashes vertically when you fight this boss. Although, to be honest, it's not great that a lot of my damage is in fact thunder damage. And this is probably a boss that is resistant to that. There's an excellent example of why a horizontal slash is bad news. Here we go. I want to hit him as much as I can as he is doing this. He does increase his defense while he's doing it, but that's alright. Now, I need to make sure that I'm out of range of the Looking Glass Knight as I attack this enemy. I do not need to have this enemy be a distraction, but I do need to deal with it before it causes any issues on its own. The worst ones are the greatsword wielding pricks. They take a lot longer to die. I haven't fought the Looking Glass Knight in a long time, but I fought him a lot, and the reason why is because he is a boss that I usually fight in New Game Plus through asceticizing the bonfire, so I'm pretty familiar with how he operates. Oh shit! That fucking slow drinking speed. That was a horizontal slash that worked in my favor, I'm pleased to say. Oh, that did not work in my favor, because the game sucks. Yeah. I did press the button with the correct timing, although perhaps you wouldn't believe me. Well, clearly you didn't press it with the correct timing because you got hit, Doomly. Touché. I'll let you have that. I suppose I should just be going two-handed at this stage. I'm not using my shield, so... Didn't like that Looking Glass Knight. Here we go. I think I missed my chance to deal full damage there. Right, who have we got? Oh, we've got the... He's the one with... Oh, he's got the spear. Yeah, that's fine. It's good that you jump back like that, Looking Glass Knight. It pleases me. This does not please me! I have no stamina to get out of the way of your jump attack. Fuck me. Alright, what are you doing? You're not doing a ranged attack, and that is good news. Look at him. Do you see how fast he runs when he pursues you? Like, that stupid shit. Where the enemy moves at a certain pace for the entirety of the confrontation, except for when he wants to pursue you. That needs to stop. It's not going to stop because the game came out a long time ago. But the... The point is that it's annoying. See that? It's unnatural. The enemy moves unnaturally just so that he can catch up with you. It's lazy. It's bad game design. And people excuse it. Do you know how I know they excuse it? It's because I am the only person that I've ever heard complain about it. Now, it's probably been explained several times as a problem. Or described as a problem many times in many criticisms of the game, but I've never heard it, personally, because I don't go out looking for criticism. I don't go out in search of criticism. But it should be something that everyone mentions, like that is an inexcusable aspect to the game design that actually detracts from the experience of playing it. I don't know. Oh, stop it. Did you just see that? Because he was swinging his weapon, his shield ended up blocking my attack. Nightmarish. Oh, that was bad. Thought I'd be out of range. Was not. Oh no. I'm happy that we're not getting the greatsword creep. Get over here. Yeah, that's fine. You can technically use that sort of behavior to your advantage. Hopefully you can now see why I need life gems for this fight. That was a non-negotiable. Yeah, that's cute. Imagine simultaneously running. Ugh. Let's stop making stupid noises, Doomling. But you can see how, like, how unfair is it that that enemy can have a shield, a spear, to be able to run at that speed with a shield raised and a spear with that sort of range in hand. I mean, how the fuck is that balanced in any way, shape, or form? Any developer worth their salt would gladly condemn that sort of design decision. No! Okay. Get your attack out. Oh, that would be right, wouldn't it? Okay. Now, I'm happy to change immediately, and the reason why is don't do your jump attack while I'm changing weapons. Okay, now the reason why I'm happy to change immediately is because there is a follow-up. And he fucking delays the follow-up just to trip me up. You dick. The reason why I'm happy to change immediately is it tracks you. The fucking lightning attack tracks you. Hello? Unbelievable. Part of what's frustrating about that is that I've consumed a certain number of life gems and do not have the souls do not have the souls to replenish them. How long have I been recording? An hour and 17 minutes. The time has flown by. Not. I'll be back in a moment. I need to visit the bathroom again because basically I've been hydrating outside of drinking this beer so that my voice could be in better form, but that has come with the rather unfortunate side effect of needing the bathroom. I'll be back soon. Am I annoyed? Yes. Rather. Not that anyone asked that question in the chat, I'm just sort of answering a question not asked. Just thinking of what I can do. I mean, I could always quickly acquire souls just by killing enemies in the area, buying some more life gems, and just trying again. That is the solution. I mean, unless you can identify that you are severely disadvantaged in a boss confrontation, or in a certain part of the game, the solution is to just persist. That is what you do in a Souls game. That is what you do in many games, to be honest. In games that are actually skill-based, that require good gameplay in order for you to succeed. Alright. Just get it done, Doomling. There don't appear to be any people putting their summon signs down, so fine. I'm going this way because I'm going to kill the enemies that are down here. They're not that difficult to kill, to be honest. And I'm going to use the souls that they drop. Is it you? It is you. Let's kill you too. That's how you want to do it. Very good. You actually do need to attack the head specifically. That is important. I almost want to say that the Pursuer's Greatsword is better against these enemies because they seem to be fairly resistant to thunder. And the thunder damage of my other weapon definitely factors into his overall effectiveness in a big way. So, yeah, it seems the Pursuer's Greatsword, being a purely raw weapon, is doing it favors in this place. I mean, unless I'm just totally wrong. Which is a possibility. Now, for anyone who's familiar with the Titanite slab drop rates of Dark Souls 1, yeah, that's not a thing in this game, ladies and gentlemen. Titanite slabs are very easy to get in Dark Souls 2. I remember the first time I got a Titanite slab in this game when I played it, when it came out. I nearly shat. I was like, what? How did I just get a Titanite slab? Do enemies like these even drop Titanite slabs? What's going on? And I found out pretty quickly after I ended up getting maybe 4 or 5 of them without difficulty that, yeah, Titanite slabs are absolutely nothing like they are in Dark Souls 1 in this game. So, why are you saying repair your sword? It is repaired. My sword repairs automatically because it's Dark Souls 2. Anyway. I mean, I could always use Homewood. To be honest, I probably should be using my Homewood Miracle more than I am. You can actually get infinite Titanite slabs in Scholar of the First Sin. What the fuck? That's extraordinary. Alright. Melentia. Give me your sweet, sweet life gems. We're doing it again, guys. We're going to do the Pursuer... Not Pursuer. Looking Glass Knight again. I'm using the Pursuer's Greatsword. That's why I said Pursuer. Alright. Now, I will perform better in this confrontation because I have been reminded of the confrontation. It's been a while since I last fought the Looking Glass Knight. I was only able to perform as well as I did in that fight because I've done it many times before. But it has been a while. So, with that warm-up fight taken care of, you know what? I'm starting to wonder which is better between these two. No, actually, this weapon deals more raw damage, okay. Well, that's good to have confirmed. So we want to specifically hit the heads. There you are. Very good. That's very good. That's brilliant. I'll stop it. You know one thing that I don't like about this game? It feels like weapon range, at least as far as the enemies are concerned, is a whole lot better for them than it is in any other game. You always just tend to get hit by the very tip, just the tiniest little bit of the edge of a sword in this game. It's just something that you deal with as part of how things are. Comes with the territory of playing Dark Souls 2. That's how it feels. Hitboxes in this game are shit. Yeah, it's not the only thing that's shit in this game. This game looks and smells like shit. It's because it is shit. Fact of life. Dark Souls 1 was not better in terms of hitboxes. I'm not going to argue that point, and there is only one reason why. It's because I don't know. But my experience tells me that this game's probably less forgiving when it comes to the hitboxes of weapons. It's just because I can only go based on my own experiences, and I've actually played a whole lot more Dark Souls 1 than I have played of this game, so yeah. Happy to have that persist as a point of discussion, not involving me, because I'm now fighting a boss that I need to focus on. You dick. I definitely need better agility. I pressed the button, and by the button, I mean the one that should have been pressed in that moment, but apparently wasn't. Well, I suppose the one that was not pressed in a timely fashion. This is pathetic. I really do hate that shield. It is a shield that displeases me beyond all measure. Why? That stupid poking attack, which is never on target, because targeting is not absolute in this game, as we have discussed before. Shockingly, it was on target this time. I mean, that's just pure coincidence, really. There's nothing to do with anything I did deliberately. Shockingly, that attack did not hit the shield. That one fucking did. Now I'm well and truly out of stamina, so I'm going to recover it to deal with whatever comes through the mirror. Alright. Oh, you don't feel like jumping back this time. Very well. Get over here. He never comes when he's wanted. That much I can tell you for sure. I'm so displeased by the fact that the Looking Glass Knight this time around, for some arbitrary reason, has decided to be more aggressive. Here he comes. You stupid silver thing. Go away. And the speed at which that prick stabs me with his spear, despite the fact that he's long-ranged, has shielding capabilities, and can run at the speed of light. Really? Oh. So here I was trying to avoid the sword, but he actually just jumped on me, directly, like he jumped on my face. Absolutely ridiculous. I've barely dealt any damage, and I'm down to 1 Estus Flask. 1 Estus Flask. That's how English works, do me. And 8 life gems. I'm actually playing considerably worse than I was the first time around. Whatever. Can he make up for it? Probably. Not by playing like that, however. Yeah, whatever. Do your cute little thrust thing. Doesn't do anyone any favours. I love how he just sort of looks down at you. Like, what exactly are you doing? my god. Yes, you get over here. And then he jumps back at the perfect time to evade my attack. Honestly. Oh, good. And then I'm... Yep. That requires no further comment. No. What the fuck is that about? No, not another one. Jesus fucking Christ. Alright. 6 life gems. Can he do it? He can only do it if he doesn't really get hit very much. That's the only way. There's no other way. Is it within the realm of possibility? Yes. Is it within his actual capabilities? Yes. It is. Is he gonna fucking perform in the moment that he really needs to perform? Well, your guess is as good as mine. D! D stands for, I don't know. Something that starts with D. Hello. If you're going to be indecisive with what you're going to do to me, then I'm going to take advantage of your indecision. Ugh. Almost got hit by that. Here we go. He fucking put his shield on my face. Alright. Can it be done? Yes. Is it likely to be successful, this attempt of mine? Let's not talk about it in terms of likely or unlikely. Let's use positive language like, this is certainly doable. Do your little run. Well, he did his little jump, that motherfucker. Alright. That was smooth, and definitely to my advantage. By the way, it's worth mentioning that I am not overpowered for this fight at all. like in no way am I too strong. Okay, I'm just about... I'm not quite underpowered, but I'm certainly not overpowered, let's put it that way. So it's a fair fight. It's a fair fight. Oh my god, what do you do now? No, not that fucking attack. We don't like that attack at all. See, I need to balance... this is the problem. If you are not aggressive enough, you're never going to deal the damage you need to deal to get the fight over and done with. That's the problem with being too defensive, right? So, well, not defensive, but being too hesitant to even get an attack out. There's a balance to everything. And sometimes being overly hesitant because you're scared to fail can cause you to fail, because you're not getting your attacks out. And so, with that in mind, I'm going to do... Oh my god. Get a full damage hit out. He didn't do it, ladies and gentlemen. Can he do it? Let's see. Let's just go for it. Hey. Yeah. That's about the most difficult attempt for me against the Looking Glass Knight in recent memory. I usually don't have issues with fighting him, and I think part of the reason, I don't think it's so much a skill thing, I think usually my build progression, whatever you want to call it, is better than it is here in this playthrough. So I usually don't have as much difficulty. Tell you what, I had nothing to spare. Well, I did actually have some Radiant, and some old Radiant life gems, but it's pretty risky to be equipping those during the fight. So, yeah. I do apologize for the coughing and spluttering. As I said, this is why you haven't heard me for a week and a half. This is what I considered passable compared to how things were before, so... Yeah. What I'd reckon is you're going to have a few more days of silence while I try to get over this throat malady. Alright. Looking Glass Knight, Soul. I do like the armor set that you can make for him, but I don't believe it requires the Looking Glass Knight Soul. I've definitely done strength builds in the past where I have the full set and the mirror shield. I think that's pretty cool, actually. One thing I don't like about the mirror shield is that it's grey and doesn't reflect anything when you actually forge it. That's unfortunate. And it detracts from the main reason why I forged it in the past. It was for aesthetic reasons. But, yeah, it's just grey and unreflective. Alright. Shrine of Amana, my least favourite fucking place, and do you know why? It is my least favourite place. It's because I played this game when it came out. Now, those of you who didn't play this game when it came out don't understand. And that is a fact of life. You don't understand. But for those of you who did, Shrine of Amana was a special kind of thing when this game came out. The homing ability of those mages, whatever you would call them, in the Shrine of Amana was so egregiously imbalanced that there isn't really a string of words that I could contrive in the English language to do it justice. You'd have to go back and watch video footage of it or something, wherever you could find it on YouTube. I mean, it's awful. It's awful. Just the memory of it hurts me. I don't remember when they patched it. I think it would have been before the first DLC dropped. But, yeah, it was not okay. The fact that the finished game actually came out with that homing ability is just, that's utterly pathetic. Alright, we are 1 hour and 37 minutes in, which means I'm going to have to do a bit of Shrine of Amana in this recording. Which is not nice to see. Let's just consume the Looking Glass Knight Soul. If for some strange reason I want it in the future, I can just get it with a bonfire aesthetic. That's the thing with this game, you don't really have to be so concerned about whether or not you should be consuming this boss soul. Bonfire aesthetics do exist. And it's not so difficult to fight a boss that's in a level or two that is a level or two higher than you are, as far as New Game is concerned. It's harder to play through the game itself at that level than it is to kill a boss. That's what I've found. Alright, taking you to 10. And then I might leave you there for a little while. Just for a little while. This is supposed to be a faith build, and I have not done much with my miracles at all. That's probably not a good thing. That's laziness. For sure. I'll think about it later. I'll just keep playing through the game mindlessly, I guess. Shrine of Amana, Tower of Prayer. I'll try to be thorough as I go through the Shrine of Amana. Pick up as many items as I can. Such as this one. Which is... I don't know. The reason why I'm doing this is because I am acutely aware of the fact that I only need one petrified dragon bone in order. I'll just get a life. Archdrake prick. I'm acutely aware of the fact that I only need one petrified dragon bone to upgrade this thing. So, I'm going to be on the lookout for petrified dragon bones. I don't know where they are. I could actually inform myself as to where they can be found. But I am too lazy, apparently. I'm opening this door because there's actually something you can knock down. Don't remember what's over here, but there is something. I think no, it's not a basilisk. It's you. I'm assuming this is an ambush, isn't it? It's not? It's not an ambush, I'm shocked. Genuinely shocked. Can't believe it. Lost for words. Alright, oh, there's a chest. Here's an interesting thing, and I'm sure you all know this, but I'm mentioning this conversationally. All wooden chests, if broken by a weapon that you're swinging, will yield trash, or rubbish actually, no matter what was inside. So if you break it, that's it. You've lost what's inside. Which is a shame. And obviously that confrontation was set up to actually invite the risk that you may destroy the chest in the process of killing that enemy, so... Pretty nasty of the game to do that. But it would be educational for the person unlucky enough to have made the blunder. What is this? Twinkling titanite and a flame. Butterfly. Let's kill this thing that we can't target for reasons that, quite frankly, are totally inexplicable. It's because it's hidden. I don't know. The thing is, it's not hidden. It's just they're trying to make it harder for some reason. Well, if you can't target it, then it's totally undetected, right? Well, I can see it in the water. What are you doing? It's rather clear. Oh, well, let's just destroy this coast point. What's in here? Like I said, I'm being thorough. I've yet to really be rewarded for my thorough coverage of this location, but it's bound to happen eventually, right? Female.
Knew you were coming.
Yeah, I was coming. Or rather, your clairvoyance is, quite frankly, uncanny. No, I don't really know what I'm trying to get across here. Excuse my crass comment. Yes, I can see that there is actually an archdrake sprinting in my direction. I don't know what he's sounding like. It sounds roughly like that, okay? Roughly. There we are. I don't mind dealing with 2 of them simultaneously, but I do certainly mind dealing with 3. That I would not countenance. Alright, you see how they are so aggressive. I mean, really, congratulations, guys. I forgot what their shields are called. I don't think they're actually very good for the player. They work very well for the enemy, of course. But then as soon as you equip it, it's like, oh, okay. Fucking useless shield. I'm pretty sure that's how it is. I could be wrong, maybe it's an excellent shield and I've just, you know, vomited complete garbage out my mouth by saying that it's a bad shield, but my general impression at this stage is that it sucks. Alright, so while there are enemies to kill and loot, or perhaps we could say booty to acquire, I'm not actually going to succumb to the temptation, and I will instead push forward to the bonfire, which is only up ahead. What do you want? He's very friendly, he just wants a hug. These things. So, see, if I move around it, I can avoid it. When this game came out, you couldn't do this. It would hit you, always. Always. It would perfectly home to your character. Now, that sounds bad, but to experience it, I'm sorry to say, is another thing. It's another thing. So, Yeah, bad fucking news. And no fun at all. Also, see, you can very clearly see that they just keep traveling too. They don't disappear. Oh, they just keep coming. Hello, sparkly creature. Are you related to, what was his name again? Edward? I don't know. Late 2000s jokes. Oh, Lost Sinisaur is at risk. Well, let's not break it. Oh, I reckon we can get away with killing this guy. I don't know if I actually finished the point that I was making before when I said that I was happy to change weapons when I was fighting the Looking Glass Knight, when this weapon actually became weak. It's because when it says the weapon is at risk, it loses damage immediately. Like, as soon as you get that warning message, it will lose damage. So it does incentivize you to change weapons at that point. So, there you are. We did all that for Twinkling Titanite times 1 and then some random garbage. No, I think that spice is quite useful. As I understand it, it can be used to, yeah, lowers requirements for certain spells. It's good if you've got a very strict build setup. But I would actually say that having a strict build setup is pretty dumb in a game where you can just use infinite bonfire aesthetics on the last giant. Dark Souls 2. Well, P-Berry, it's just you and me in this live stream. I guess people couldn't stand the sound of my throat any longer, so yeah, it is what it is. It's good. It means that I didn't make a mistake whatsoever in not recording. Not to make it poignant, but... Oi! But yeah. People don't put up with that shit. That's a fact. So I'll just, I'll wait a few more days. Alright. Now there's an interesting little section of it. Oh, stop her. Yeah, go away. Now, there's an interesting section up here. I'm not sure how to get onto it though. Oh, that's right. I have to do a run jump. And then there's always that uncontrollable roll animation which comes out. Not much I can do about it. And what the fuck did I get out of that? Hurrah for jumping! Yeah, you're right. Didn't get anything out of that. I suppose I could have seen that before I got there. But I still persisted and achieved nothing. What joy. Hello. Get out of here. Let's just keep missing at point blank. We'll just keep missing at point blank range because we're playing Dark Souls 2, and quite frankly, that is the pure, unadulterated Dark Souls 2 experience. Unfiltered excrement is what I'd call that. Backstab. Or not, or simply don't backstab. That is another option available to you. No, that's bad news. I don't like that at all. There are things that I like and things that I dislike, and I have no doubt in my mind where this confrontation falls when it comes to that. I don't remember if you respawn or not. I don't know what the fuck I was just trying to do there. Break his guard. Break his guard. Ugh. Why am I doing this? I've got quite a few enemies to get through before I dispatch this guy. Well, excuse me. I've got quite a few enemies to get through before I reach the next bonfire, so Going so far as to kill this enemy is honestly not going to do me any favors. It's also going to terribly compromise the durability of my sword. I'm playing the game where he retreats from me. I'm out of stamina. It's my miscalculation, I can't blame him for it. Hello. Yeah, whatever. You should lose some weight, man. Like, what's going on, man? Alright. Very good. Hello. That was, that looked as if I intended to do that. Tips and tricks on how to get through Shrine of Amana with Doom Link. I don't think you understand how impossible this was when you couldn't actually avoid these fucking attacks. I used to have quite an extraordinary and impossible to describe PTSD from the sound of these things. I've gotten over it now. Oh, for fuck's sake. Nope, that's it, I'm done. That's 30,000 souls, by the way. I haven't lost them yet, but I'm at risk of losing them. I couldn't see that that was a drop-off. I genuinely couldn't. I apologise that it is not yet 2 hours since I started this live stream, but look, I'm not in the best form. I don't sound great, and yeah, but that's alright. It's the the teething issues associated with coming back from sickness. So I do thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time I'm recording. I hope you enjoyed seeing Dark Souls 2 again. I'll try to do it sometime soon. But for now, I bid you all farewell, and I thank you for watching. Bye-bye.